attack, range, release, key filter, easy boy. Everything on there right now. Put some stuff. Then you have compressor. So you can pick what, again, when you want to attack, release, how much gain you want, what your compression ratio is, your threshold. Do we understand what threshold is? Okay, for the new guys, carry your wife over the threshold. The story of after you get married, you carry your wife through the door, right? You're carrying her over the threshold. Threshold is the top of your door. So where do you want to set the level that's going to be compressed? Where do you want to set it at?
Okay, you right.
You want to set it at 6 feet? You want to set it at 5 feet, 10 feet, just like a door. You have a height. So the threshold is where you want compression to begin. How loud before something gets, before the compression takes over. Then you have attack. How quickly, once you reach that threshold, do you want it to start compressing? You want it to hit that peak and then start compressing easily? Or as soon as it hits that peak, compress it right away? So how quickly do you want the threshold to occur? That's called attack. Then there's release. Once it comes down below the threshold, do you want it to release immediately or do you want it to ease off? If you make your attack real quick, as soon as it goes over, you're going to hear someone like, get real loud, then go real low on you. That can be a little weird. Or as soon as they get really, real loud, they start getting low. It drops down very low. It becomes very noticeable. So you probably want a gradual attack and a gradual release. If you're doing drums, drums are very dynamic. You probably want to have a faster attack and a faster release. And then the other thing that happens is the more compression that occurs, the more you compress that signal, the louder it will get. So as you increase your compression, the output of your channel strip gets louder. So you have an overall compensation that you can now bring down, a gain right there, compression gain, and you can bring it down. So that's threshold, attack, and release. Now you'll also find that in gates and limiters. You're going to find what's your threshold, how much you want to attack, and how much you want to release. There is no, this is how you do it. You have to listen to it and make your adjustments to your ear. The better your ear is, the better your settings will be, and predicting what's going to happen. Wrestling liked their guys to distort when they started screaming. We naturally wanted to bring them down so they were loud, but they weren't distorting. But wrestling wants them to distort. So whatever they want. We don't use aux sends. There's a million other things this will do. We don't do them all. We do very little. This is kind of set up for a bar, for a full band in a bar. Mainly what it's designed to do. So we don't do everything that it's supposed to do. So it just doesn't apply. But the big thing is, set your board up for normalization, set it to unity. If there's a question, you can look here what your auxes are, or you can look in the book and know what it's supposed to be. And then the big thing here is scenes, recall, and that's your normalization. Now remember, when you select patch bay, that's what it's going to read. It's going to read what's up here. So this wouldn't be online unless you patched it. because it's not in this system. So when we go to patch bay, we're going to a normaled setting. It's not normal off. It's this normal. That's the way your board will read. So understanding this is quite important. Now, there are versions of this, blank ones, in the ref or template section. So you can come in here and then pick what you want everything to be set at. So when it comes time to do your board, you just follow what you've already decided and then design your board accordingly. When I'm doing a ball game, my audio guy will probably take 6 hours filling this in. Now, you can't test some of the things. He goes, okay, I want the field mic right here. Well, the field mic hasn't been built yet. It's not plugged in, so you can put it there, but you don't hear it, you don't know. So the next day when everything gets plugged in, he has to go over this list and make sure everything is what he wanted it to be. He checks it again and again and again. And we have what's called fax or facsimile. Everybody goes through all their settings and we practice what it's supposed to do. Let me hear all your field effects. So he opens up all his field effects. You know, I'm not hearing on the left side grab. Well, he's got to check this out and find out why he's not hearing that. Again, make sure it's ready, time of the game. Good thing is he can save everything he's done. You can save it to a pen drive on bigger boards. So if he ever does one of my games again on that particular brand and model of board, you can plug that in there and recall it. Everything goes back to the way it was. So he'll keep a copy of what he's done, label what the file is on which pen drive, because he's got a whole bunch of pen drives for different people he works for, different audio boards he works for. Or you can go, your show is very similar to CBS's show, so I'm going to plug in CBS. I know what CBS looks like, and then I'll make the changes that are different with your show at CBS. So it can knock off some of that 2-hour presetting everything up. The other thing is none of their patches are normal. So if that's microphone 1 and that's input 1, he's got to put a patch there because it doesn't go through. So everything has to be hand patched. Have you ever seen some of those pictures in the study guide? There's probably 8-foot racks. There's probably 8 or 10 of them, and they're filled with these. As he moves the signal from point A to point B to point C to point D and gets it where he wants it to go. Same with his auxes. He may have 20 aux outs. Everybody wearing headsets. Everybody wearing earpieces. You're in charge of all communications. Everything. Speakers in the studio, headsets, all that stuff. Our headsets are all or nothing. They're not selectable. They're all or nothing. But we could make them selectable by assigning an aux to them, and then we could feed different things to different people. Questions?
Everything, to be honest, yeah.